episode of Speakers of Flightland is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers, Omeji Cat Comet, Erizu Yamakawa, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Azuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Lily Black, Bob CC, Mikta Rabentau, Edwin, Arcadia Lunashine, Anathus Moonscar, Pamela Isley, Camille Grinno, Elenriel Maximus, Codrith Novelist, Mira Miri, Suno Chicano, Celestao Notrell, Lazy Boy, A Wild Sarah, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Stormarrow, Tex, Kai Lynn, Arthur Law, Biridan Derard, Signpup, Spencer Christmas, Noy Fafnir, Chester Soltiri, Celine DeLune, Bobster Wolf, Severa, Circuit Barrackeel, AJ Brainswordson, Kazran, and Nat Clay. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Flightland.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Flightland, episode 337. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Yuri Wiston, Mela Vanadar, and Grollo Des. Almost called you Grollo again.
I'm growling on you.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome.
Only 1,000 more episodes to go.
Yeah, we
And
are.
It's
That's true. Only 1,000.
Oh yeah.
How far?
Yeah.
How? We have 300. Okay, God, how many episodes per year?
There's 52 a year.
52 a year.
Well, let's say 50 because we have Christmas break.
Oh yeah, there's Christmas break.
Let's say
So
50. Makes the
Oh
maths easier.
my God.
So
So
then,
quite a few years.
it's 20 years from now.
20 years. So we'll be in our 50s then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Tanaka might have returned by then.
Maybe. I don't think there's a game to cover at that point, so maybe not.
Yeah. We'll be fine.
Anyways, it is
see.
for now. It's episode 337. It's February 11th, 2023. Main topics today: PvP.
Everything. Again.
We're gonna go talk about PvP, but of course, we are going to talk about another community drama.
Community.
It's so annoying because when we released the episode, it just happened when we released. It was literally the same day that we released the episode on YouTube where we covered the Omega drama that we were already behind on, and now we were behind immediately on the other drama. So we'll be talking about that, of course, as well, and we'll be reading MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail if you're watching live. Post-show, reading questions from the syndicate. So make sure you catch that as well. All right, let's get into it. It's time for recent events. Right. We'll start with some light news. Endwalker EP3. Very catchy name. Out now.
Third extended play from this expansion pack.
Yeah.
I feel like. Do you remember when it was just an OST?
Yeah, I feel like
Well-
the EP thing is kind of. Yeah, do we need this? But
It's very expensive.
Well, this is for people that want it immediately.
Well, I guess so. I mean, sure, it's a way of them making
if you
money.
immediately
Go for it.
need these 5 songs, I suppose an EP. But I feel like this is a little weird. I like getting the OS, like waiting for the
Big
OST and
OST.
getting like the full package instead of having to like collect EPs and then get the full album. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
If you don't want them, you don't have to buy them. You can.
No,
make
I'm just
the
saying
OST.
this
These
is a
aren't-
weird product to me. Like it's like EPs like
For a game.
for a game. It's a little much,
It's-
but
it's-
whatever. If you want EPs, you can get EPs. I'm not going to gatekeep what you buy.
Yeah. It's the future.
You can get the songs A Favor, Rhythm of the Realm, Dedicated to Moonlight, Deep Blue, and Forged in Crimson. That's
First
it.
3 are from Euphrosyne. Deep Blue is from Lapis Manalis. Is that's what? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
then you
says so
can-
here. And then the last one is from Mount Ordeals, the Ruby Kante fight.
I think the weirdest part is that the EP is digital only.
Is
Which-
it?
Yeah, you can only get it at iTunes Store and Amazon Music.
No, I wasn't asking like, is it only digital only? I was asking, is that weird?
Yeah,
A little bit.
because EP was, it's from the days of like physical records, and it was like a.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. If you pay attention to modern music, EPs that are released digital only aren't that strange anymore.
No, but it's weird that we call them EPs just to begin with. It could just be a
be-
collection.
It's a legacy thing. It's like how saving in a Word document is a floppy disk. Not that any children would know what that means.
True.
suppose.
I just
I'm
find
not
the whole.
gonna
I just find the whole thing weird. I like just having the full album. But again, not gatekeeping what you
When
want,
do we go
what you
from a
buy.
single to an EP?
I am.
Because, like, singles can have 3 songs on.
Rollo's
Why-
gatekeeping. That's
Don't
Why
spend
you
any money on
gatekeep-
dumb stuff.
I mean, that's good advice.
You're a person that suggests that people just steal from
Yeah.
people. So I don't know if I can take your
Whoa.
word for what you want.
We can't
Listen,
condone that
I-
now.
What I say is fact.
Mm.
Steal what you can, as long as it's not immoral, I would say. And then, just spend your money on stuff like food.
Yeah, only do morally okay stealing.
Yeah.
I'm an advocate for moral crime. That's my stance for years. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a different. Okay, we can't go into. I'm not going to talk about records. I mean, I wasn't even born when records were like the medium of choice. All right, let's move on. Oops. Weird timing for some new optional
Hilarious
items.
timing.
I know it's not on purpose, but by God, I wish it was.
Yeah, Square Enix or Final Fantasy 14 can now offer some balloons, just some weather balloons, just
No.
gathering some weather data that you can fly around in.
This is all wrong. I hate this.
Why?
This
What?
is called cerulean balloons. Cerulean
Yeah,
is crude oil.
yeah. Well,
What?
yeah.
Well, it's
what
cerulean
fractional
gas.
distillation techniques
Yeah,
are
we
we
have
doing?
that's
It might be
true.
cerulean
cerulean
gas.
gas.
It might be cerulean gas.
And has cerulean gas confirmed to be lighter than air? Apparently it is now. I mean, where is all this coming from?
When have we ever established that?
Wait.
cerulean gas
Hold on.
wasn't lighter
Hold
than
on.
air?
Hold on. No, Mela. It's true. Cerulean gas. They use it in airships in our game. In world,
Okay.
it is a lighter than air gas. So
That's fine.
yeah.
That's
helium.
just it, okay.
But even more flammable, I guess.
Yeah.
Very flammable.
Well, at least we're not using something that's a finite resource like helium.
True.
That is true.
We have
but maybe
a lot
it is
of
on
it.
this planet.
Yeah.
Every time you buy a balloon, big balloon steals more helium from the Earth.
Yeah.
And it's going to
That
run
is-
out. Watch out.
Well, depends on the type of balloon.
Yeah. Well, anyways, you can get this. I didn't check the price,
hideous.
but I'm gonna check it now. It's a
I
mount.
Quite
think
expensive.
it's the normal mount price.
Yeah.
It's account wide.
Oh, it's account wide. £13.80.
All mounts are nowadays. Unless they're seasonal event mounts.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
This is one of the
I've given
Mog
up a long
Station
time ago. I don't
shop
care.
mounts that I actually like more. I
Yeah.
think it's so silly. It's just like
I
it's just a
mean,
balloon.
I
Yeah.
am honestly tempted to buy it, but also it's a bunch of balloons.
Ah.
I mean, it's not as bad as the firmament balloons, but I just
That's
think it's
true.
so close to that. It's not. It's so. It's just so stupid.
I mean, come on.
Which is
Is this what we're gonna go say is stupid, considering all the other shit that's been released to this game?
No, we say everything.
This is where we draw the line.
No,
Some balloons.
we always say how stupid everything is.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the umbrella as well. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
the thing about this is, I think it's quite modular. I think they'd be able to repurpose this into something else.
Mm,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Just like
Any
a white,
sort of
just a giant white
line.
one, maybe.
Yeah, that would be good.
Hmm.
So we can, like, in
Latent.
case it's fire on Mirror City. or
Gather
something.
some weather data for
Yeah.
Mm,
Remember, kids, the best spy equipment is always just going to be a balloon.
Yeah. No one will ever notice it.
There's a lot of reasons why that's the case, but we shouldn't go into that.
No.
Other than this, they also put the last year's Valentione's items on the Mog Station.
Yeah, and there's a big sale as well on not just them, but a bunch of stuff. But it's mostly Valentine's gear from the old stuff.
I've heard that some people were annoyed about this because they bought previous Valentione's event items because this sale was so late into the event.
Well, I mean, no offense, but that, if you wanted to buy it and it was worth the money you paid, then that's fine.
Yeah.
That's easy to say, but it always feels like you're being ripped off when a sale happens shortly after you purchase something.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Anyway, enjoy buying all 3 male and all 3 female individual colours for £2 each.
Yeah.
What a waste!
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Valentione, there is a vibrant Valentione Sweepstakes screenshot contest, where you know how this the drill here. But I'll read the post.
Use your Gshade to get a nice screenshot.
Whoa,
that's a tease for later. All right, announcing the Vibrant Valentione Screenshot Sweepstakes. We're holding a special screenshot sweepstakes to celebrate the month of love. Show us your most beloved.
Saint Valentine's Day month. Yes, okay.
Yeah. Show us your most beloved treasure in the world of Final Fantasy XIV, your partner, friend, or favorite NPC. A random selection
Sorry, that's funny.
What? Or
your partner, your friend, or if you've got neither, your favorite NPC.
A random selection of 1,500 winners will be drawn from all qualifying entries. Be sure.
I love that this is a thing. I don't know how long I feel like they must have been doing this for a very long time because they did it during the tactics competition as well. I just love that it's just random winners.
You don't have to put effort in.
You don't need to. There's no need for quality.
No.
As long as it's just a screenshot from the game.
Someone just take a picture of their character not doing anything in a neutral pose and just see what happens.
Take a picture of the weird shimmering and MogHome or whatever.
Yeah.
Just filtering that, submit it.
Yeah.
You need the only condition I see here is that you need to be wearing the new gear for this event.
Yes. Be sure to read the rules and share a screenshot of your character celebrating their dearest while wearing the new Valentione emissary attire for a chance to receive an in-game reward. It started on February 8th. It'll end on the 15th. So through the 14th for Europe.
On Valentine's Day.
Yeah, on Valentine's Day, which is weird. It's at 4 p.m. on Valentine's Day for us.
Yeah.
It should. Why not extend it by 1 day?
No, here's the thing, Nikhil. Because it's already not Valentine's Day when it ends in Japan.
That's true. Because they're the
as you can
count.
Exactly. As you can see, if you look at the Australian Eastern Daylight Savings time latest year, Valentine's Day is over.
Well,
it's not our fault that you're behind the times.
It's at 3. So is Australia 3 hours?
Factors your concerns.
Is that the difference between Australia time and Japan?
No, it's 2 hours. It would be 1 a.m. Japan time.
So why 1 a.m.? Why not until they could have at least?
They're giving that's the Europeans that extra hour.
That's
because
server.
That's set to the same time as server reset.
I see.
Yeah.
Not that it matters. Anyways, submit one screenshot using specific stickers from the group post feature showing your character's most beloved treasure while wearing the new Valentione emissary attire. That's the theme. And then you have to use Twitter for this? Yeah, this is a Twitter. Using Twitter, reply to one of the promotion tweets from either the 14 one of the 14 Twitters. Yeah, it's a tweet.
You have to use specific text stickers so it has your character name, display homeworld, and the date and time.
It supplies you with a sample tweet. But yeah, there you go. Go to the Lodestone for more information on that if you want to win some of the prizes. Do you get all of them?
No, you get one of them.
Oh, one of them.
You get one. You
So you get the horrible, ugly cloud strife hair, the noble barding, gaily cap, and a bluebird earring.
Yeah, all
The
right.
bluebird earring is so low key compared to the other
yeah.
three things.
The
It's,
gaily cap is the
it's
one you
cute, but you'll never see it. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's an earring. Do you want like a giant ass? Like, I mean,
I'd like some earrings that I could see on my character.
you
to
want
be fair.
like big, like rings, Layla? Like, yeah.
I want some Pat Butcher style earrings.
Okay, yeah. I like the more natural looking earrings, but you don't see them unless you like zoom in.
No, I would just to address what chat's saying. I think the cloud hairstyle looks okay on certain characters,
We say this every
but
time.
never on the one. Yeah, I know, but never on the one that they use as an example.
Yeah.
It's
No.
always the disgusting cat girl.
I hate that we have to
Yeah.
clarify this every time because people get like, actually, yeah,
No.
it'll work on some,
Well,
okay?
No. I just wanted to clarify that, like, they're not selling it. They're
No.
not giving us
No.
the best example.
Yeah.
Why didn't they make a character here that looked quite a bit like Cloud?
Yeah, I mean, they could have done that. Yeah.
He's in all of the flavor text in the like log
It's
examples.
And also,
They
the
all just have
character
FF7
is just like deadpan looking into the camera. There's like no expression. There's just like,
No,
it's weird. It's a weird picture.
No,
Okay.
soldier.
it's giving unaltered PvP portrait.
Yes, exactly. Okay, well, moving on to some details from a Korean live letter Q&A. So if you didn't know, for the special clients, such as the Korean one, they have separate live letters because they're actually... Have they caught up
Behind
now?
us?
They're still behind by a little bit, I think.
They're a little bit, but I think they're definitely catching up.
Yeah,
But I think they'll always be a little bit behind.
yeah.
Yeah, because China's still on 6.2, so I'm guessing they're still behind China as well, right?
Yeah. What is the
No, I think
situation in
Korea
China
is the-
right now?
I think Korea is the same as China.
Is it? Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I don't know how 14 is like what the plan for 14 in China is right now, because there's been a lot of crackdown on MMOs and stuff in China recently. I don't know how.
Oh, wow, shut down.
Yeah, WoW was shut down, so I'm
Yeah.
almost expecting some sort of announcement about 14 soon. A lot of games have shut down. Like a lot of online multiplayer games didn't. Like Overwatch, like Blizzard has just essentially pulled most of
Blizzard's
the
Oh,
stuff.
no,
been-
Oh.
Blizzard has been
Yeah, it's just
essentially
all of
shut
that
out.
is
They
gone.
smashed up the Orc statue.
I
Yeah.
think they just have the like the company just has bad relations now with
Yeah.
with the, like the authorities or whatever parent company it has now.
Yeah.
In China at least. I think what company does 14 use in China? I can't remember.
Oh,
I have no idea.
I don't know.
But I think from what I know, they're still in fairly good standing.
Well,
I
they
think
might
it's
be in good
mostly-
standing, but
Yeah.
it's becoming increasingly difficult to operate an MMO in China.
Well, that's true. But yeah, as Chat is saying, it was specifically a breakdown of relation between Blizzard and their
Yeah, that-
Chinese
yeah.
liaison.
For
Yeah.
Blizzard, there
That
that was a deeper issue, but yeah. Anyways, is Shanda Games? Is that
Yeah.
the?
How do they?
I mean, I can say I've never heard of them in
No
my
idea.
life, so I cannot
But-
verify for or against.
No, let's just say yes, but we don't know. Apparently, a quick Google search, yes, that does seem to be correct. So
Don't forget they do Maple Story too, so you know they're rolling with the top dogs.
right.
Oh,
Okay. Well, anyways, so because the Chinese client, the Korean client, I think those are the two special ones. They are
Yes.
they are behind the rest of the world, so they have their own separate live letters. And during the Korean one, which was very recently, there was a Q&A, and there's some stuff in here that's interesting to point out. This is from the subreddit. Shout out to whoever translated this. Unfortunately, I don't have that information here, but I'm sure you can find it on the subreddit. These are bullet points from the stuff that they said that was of interest. So I'll just start from the top. This is about the friend limit. Yoshi-P wants to increase the friend limit. They're also working on an overhaul that allows people you delete to also remove you from their friend list. They are actually currently working on a system similar to this. So
That the friend list increases like I don't know
That's
anyone
fine.
that has over 200 friends. But the part about removing you from the other person's friend list is amazing. 'Cause
Yes.
up till this point, they've always been like, well, we don't want you to upset them. We
Yeah.
don't want
It's so
make
crazy.
bad blood with the person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry,
Wording's
Square
a bit
Enix,
weird.
but you have like no business in like my online relationships with my friends and the like.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I hate that. Yeah, the friend list system right now is crazy. I hate that it's not like you can't remove a friend and then have you disappeared from their friend list. That's literally how all friend lists work. It has to be mutual. Otherwise, weird to have a dude on your friend list that is not friends with you. That doesn't work. That doesn't compute. That doesn't make any sense. So, thank God.
Improve that blacklist too. God, it's crazy. You can just queue with them still.
Yes,
I think.
yeah, they're very spaghetti. Oh, sorry, they hate when I say spaghetti, but sorry, it's just a lot of spaghetti. When asked about making materia sets like gear sets, however as convenient as it can be, such a thing would create a system overhaul and would impact the economy greatly. So they will keep the current materia system.
That's the
I
right
have
choice.
I have no idea how a materia set system would work.
Well, you would just. I think in the way the Korean one would want it is you can have like more of like a skill speed one and then like more of a crit debt one or something and just swap between them with no penalties. Whereas
Oh,
this,
Yes.
I mean, you have to keep buying material. The
Yes.
economy will break, like he says.
Mm-hmm.
That's one
Okay,
of the
I
few
understand.
economies still in the game.
Yeah.
I do it that way. That's how I make my money.
Yeah. They are considering adding level 60 gear to the gear you can purchase from the Lost and Found manager. I'm assuming that's the
Calamity Salvager?
Calamity Salvager, yeah.
Well, it makes sense that it's not called that in Korea because they never went through a calamity.
Right. Yeah.
Well, obviously they do it in game, but like not in the actual client.
Level 60 gear though, like what is... So what do you currently get? So you get like the relic gear from them.
I understand because level 60 gear, the level 60 relic, not relic gear, artifact gear was just, they ended up just selling it to us as tome gear rather than being something that the game gives you.
Yeah.
So this would be allowing you to get it for money once you've obtained it, I guess.
Okay.
That's
Well,
nice.
Yeah, because it's just right now. It's just a vendor at the seals
It's only
person.
it's only with Centurio seals.
Yeah,
So it's
just
very
being that,
convenient
it's that
to
hard
get
to
again.
get.
Yeah, kind of crazy too. I feel like that's like it's iconic. You have like Heaven's Sword AF gear is pretty iconic, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the least accessible artifact gear in the game.
Yeah, it's true. They like the idea of using the fishing notebook to teleport for convenience. However, while they would love to do it, it will take some time. So please give it some patience. Yeah, so I'm assuming just opening the log and then just click to like teleport.
I assume from the fish log.
Yeah.
If when you open like the fishing log map, because right now that doesn't let you teleport when you click on it.
Right.
I see.
Mhm.
Rather than okay, so they're not just trying to make it so you can just teleport to the actual spot.
No.
No, I don't think so.
That would be awful.
That would just give the
That
bots
wouldn't be-
even
It
easier.
would be awful, but it would be crazy.
But it would.
It'd be crazy, and you can imagine the botting would go fucking
Yeah.
haywire if they have.
That's-
People would just use fishing spots for quick teleports.
Yeah. They're never gonna do that. But the clicking to teleport to nearest Aetheryte, that's definitely.
That's good.
I mean, they've already implemented lots of those systems already, so that's probably easy for them to do. Looking to add more voice samples when you create a character, so you know what voice you're getting more accurately.
Yes, you
The
need
fact
to
that
know.
battle
which
voices
bad-
aren't one of the ones you get as a choice is crazy.
That's
Yeah,
why there's so many people who do that moaning one.
yeah.
Like you're gonna is it via or Mikote voice 6 or 7, the fucking disgusting high pitched one or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Although
Some
Vieira voice 7. Yeah. Upon a Korean user's request, Yoshi-P is going to look into adding retired chocobos that hit level 40 into Island Sanctuary with their own system, but this will not be happening for a while, so he asks to be patient.
Yeah,
So-
you get to Open up a little factory on your island and turn them into glue.
Yeah.
So the companion chocobo only goes to level 20. Is level 40 for racing chocobos?
It looks like it's for racing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
racing
so-
chocobos, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Because, like, you know, because you just get rid of them and you have the little, like, certificates for them, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Because I will admit, the chocobo racing is the one of the few systems in this game that I have looked into not at all.
It's quite.
I refuse. I
It's a
refuse.
lot
It's-
for what it is, but yeah, it's.
You're,
not
then,
good.
if you've when you get to max rank on your racing chocobo and you have to then buy the other chocobo like breeding permit thing and you go to Bent Branch Meadows and you breed them, that's a little bit exciting. 'Cause it's like, you know, because you have to try and mix and match their max stats and make sure you get the highest possible min stats for everything.
Mhm.
And they get random things afterwards, like the color and stuff. It's fun.
I just kind of wish it was. I didn't have to go to Bent Branch each time.
That
Like
is
it's
fine.
so annoying.
It sounds so overwhelming as someone that knows nothing about it.
Yeah.
It is quite overwhelming.
I'm not doing chocobo eugenics.
And what are you
can't
doing
make
it
me.
for? Yeah, exactly. What are you doing it for?
What are you doing
Chocobo
it for?
racing, which
Because you need to get
Yeah.
a level 9 max stat pedigree chocobo for some reason, even though all the races basically go the same no matter what your stats are.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. More use for your retired chocobos instead of just sending them to the glue factory, or you can open your own on your island. Yoshi-P had received many requests about old job skill animations being used for something. It's hard to decide fully if he wants to, so he can't give a direct answer.
I think the reason were afraid of giving them to us is because they think they may or may not use them for future skills.
Yes, I think so too. Because they're not. Well, there's also the fact that they're not. I mean, they're obviously still in the game because they haven't been able to remove
Yes.
them from NPCs and stuff doing things. So there's that as well. But yeah,
Can't wait for the new white mage
They're
skill.
probably-
Stonewall.
yeah. I mean,
You
it's
can
that's
just pretend to
animation-
put stone skin on people.
Yeah.
No.
You just do the animation, but nothing happens.
Ah, that should be just an emote.
Yeah.
Just so we can have the noise
I can
back.
hear that sound. Oh, I love it. Okay. They are looking into adding a search feature for titles, but they have other title updates planned. So he's asking us to be patient again. Please look forward to it.
I mean, finding titles when you're looking for a specific one is a pain in the
It's
ass.
such a bad
Yes,
system
it
because
is.
I don't even know what it's like based on the achievement rather than anything else.
Yes.
But how does
Yeah.
it order the achievements? I don't really know.
Yeah.
No, it seems random. I don't know. But it isn't still. Like, there is some sort of sorting system that we just
There's a
don't see.
logic to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's
only
interesting.
the greatest of code breakers could decipher the reasoning in order for what they're listed in.
Yeah.
What is the method to the madness? No
Ye-
one will ever know.
Yeah. Looking into Party Finder updates, such as searching for specific keywords, so you can search for progress instead of scrolling through Party Finder.
That's good.
Yeah.
Relies on people being able to type things, but it's a nice idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't right now, but they are looking into allowing you to invite outside server people to weddings, but it will take a lot of work. This baffles me still. I still can't really wrap my head around why this is so difficult, but I'm not a programmer, so I'm sure there's a reason, but this is like the hardest thing in the world, it seems, to do.
Why the
I
way?
feel-
Yeah.
Maybe it's the invitations or something.
It's not just related to the invitations. I feel like it's tied to the fact that like you still need to book a slot for when your wedding
Yeah.
is happening. It sounds like it's just a specific location on the one world that you live on.
Because you will teleport into the
venue.
Chapel of the
the
12,
chapel, yeah.
Ragnarok, 8 p.m. Whereas if you're from Phoenix, it might try and make you go into the Phoenix one at 8 p.m.
But why
And
not
that could be someone
change
else's wedding.
that?
I don't know.
Because we're being moved from one instance to the next. Look at us, armchair programmers here. I don't know. Whatever the reason is, it's hard. So they're
It's
still
a very
looking into it.
baffling- It's more baffling because this is a system that came about after A Realm Reborn. Like, it's not tied
Right.
necessarily to legacy code that we're aware of.
True. Yeah, this is new. This is nothing like this existed in 1.0, so it's definitely a Realm Reborn product. I don't know, but they're looking into it. They keep saying that, so at some point, surely they will have sorted this. They are looking into adding sound effects when a ready check is completely when a ready check is complete, or if there is one or more person not ready.
That's useful.
Yeah.
Because there's no sound that lets
That's
you know
good.
when everyone's checked or not.
It should be the danger bongos.
Make a unique sound. I don't need.
Yeah, I would like a different sound, please.
They do not plan on adding chat to PvP. Stop asking. Just I don't even gonna read this because.
Oh, I need to put like easy so the other team can know.
Yeah.
GG no read.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toxic.
And just scream.
Just all you need
Dragon.
is the hello and good job button, and that's all you need. And you can. What do you, Mela? What do you mean?
You need.
I only have the hello
be
button
able to
on. That's all I
say-
do.
Attack this person.
Yeah, you do that. I won't.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm here to just play.
Yeah, push the crystal. Hello.
I have hello.
Nice job.
Because I press push the crystal, everyone just keeps doing whatever they were doing. No one's listening.
Yeah, I put limit break ready. That was useful to try and coordinate.
Limit break ready depends on what your job is.
Yeah.
The once in a lifetime like LB coordination, it can happen.
Yeah.
Sometime.
I just pray that someone else has all the other buttons and takes charge. Otherwise, I will just be doing my own thing and try to win.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, it's only 200 series XP difference between winning and losing.
Yeah.
I just go on how many losers I need to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Then I do that many matches.
Yeah. Okay, and then last is looking into letting Chocobo. So I'm assuming the rental, like the.
I assume so.
Yeah,
Chocobo porters.
Chocobo porters use the map like
Rather
Aetherites. So you just click on the map to where you want to go.
That's a good system.
That would be nice. The issue with Chocobo porters is they don't go everywhere you need them to go.
Right, that's true.
That is also true.
Like, there's currently no Chocobo porters that go all the way to Outer Lenosha.
That's true. I haven't thought about that because I never use it.
I use them because I'm cheap / because I want to go like walk away and make a drink or something, and then like, well, I might as well do the cheap option.
You were okay. I feel like am I too rich in 14? Because I have never thought about I need to save some gil so that like I need to save those 50 gil. Like that has never happened to me. I think.
Don't think that's it. I just think I'm like frugal.
Yeah, I guess
He
you
just
are.
likes the idea that the game will be doing something for him while he goes and makes a drink.
Yeah.
Rather than him being AFK.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even use the Aetherite. I probably have like hundreds of Aetherite tickets that I've put in a retainer because I hate the pop-up.
It doesn't.
Time.
Mela, we've covered that. It doesn't do that anymore.
No, I know, but I
you can
hate
also.
it, so I don't
it's
use it
so
anymore.
good now.
Years of abuse from Final Fantasy 14.
You can just go in now and like set like if it's if it costs more than this, use Aetherite ticket.
Of being broken down by Yoshi-P.
Okay.
Mela sometimes wants the game to feel harder than it is so that he can complain. You know? Because it used to be. It's like the boomer mentality. It's very interesting. Anyways, I don't even know. Oh yeah, porters. It is interesting that they've kept that system going. Like we still have the porter system, even though if you're at level 80, there is little chance that you will have run out of gil completely, so you can't teleport.
You know what annoys me the most about porters?
What?
That's really bothered me. And it's I think there are old zones that are like this as well, but it's most obvious to me in Garlemald. It costs more to use a Chocobo porter between Tertium and Camp Broken Glass than it does to just teleport to the Aetherites.
Oh, that's not good.
Ah, interesting. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, there's more maintenance on you know, all the stuff you're doing there than teleporting. You're paying for at this point. You're paying for like luxury to like ride on a chocobo and take
Not
in the
luxury.
sights, while a
freezing
chocobo
cold.
is like struggling to like carry you around. Like you're paying for the welfare of the
No,
of
the porter should always
living
be cheaper
being.
than the teleport option.
Well, it
Hey,
isn't.
taking the sites. That's
The
all.
costs have gone up. There's an inflation
Apparently so.
this current crisis, so
I
you know.
just don't understand why you would choose
The
it.
transport industry is in dire straits.
Go
Yeah.
AFK, I guess, while you. I don't know while
Yeah.
you're flying.
But you're paying more to be able to go AFK.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
I
it
think
might.
they only added.
Yeah, go on.
I think they only added chocobos to 2 zones. Anyway,
Oh,
Labyrinthos and Garlemald.
oh, okay.
Well, they're not going to get to the
Because
moon.
there's none on the moon. There's none in Ultima Thule. There's none in Elpis. Oh yeah, and
Oh,
there are
Thabnir.
also ones in Thabnir.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the other zone.
Okay, well there you go. They're looking into improving the Chocobo Porter system as well.
They're looking at some very minor but nice qual updates.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of not quality updates, but an update.
Ooh.
Gshade, huh?
Whoa! You like malware?
Never used it.
You like malware? Because most of you got it.
I love malware though.
What did you say, Mela?
I love malware.
You love malware? Then Gshade is the product for you. Okay, so I guess we'll just give a rundown because for some of you might not even know what Gshade is. So I guess we'll just quickly explain that.
What does the G stand for?
Group
Graphics?
graphics.
Yeah, I would assume it stands for graphics.
Yeah.
Goofy.
Gamer shade.
Well, so Gshade is I don't know if it's a fork or it's just a version of Reshade, which is the original.
right. It's a closed source version of Reshade. Yeah.
Yeah, Reshade. Yeah, Reshade is a graphics enhancer, if you will. It'll add filters, shaders to your game to make it look a certain way. And that used to be the go-to tool for people who wanted to like remove the mud filter of 14 and just make it pop more and look nicer. It has also a lot of more advanced stuff as well that will like add better shadows and stuff like that.
I think it also has the keep UI feature because a lot of
Yes.
I think
does.
back in the day, a lot of filter like Sweet FX type shit or whatever
Yeah.
would just make your UI look disgusting.
Yes.
No matter how
Maybe
pretty that
it's a
filter was.
screen-based filter, whereas this is a graphics-based filter. Like, it's only the rendered stuff, not the UI.
Yeah, back in the day,
Which is clever.
if you wanted to play with like a nice filter, it would just make your hotbars impossible to read, and text would be
Yeah.
like weird and brittle looking, like it would be horrible. But yeah, Gshade is a closed source version of Reshade, specifically aimed at like 14, and I think Guild Wars 2. I think
Good
Guild Wars
choices
2
there.
had like a stake in this as well. So because of that, it had some like stuff that were very specific to 14, made it easier to like modify and add stuff to it. Obviously more games, but it was most prevalent in 14 and in Guild Wars 2. It popularity exploded for this. Like if you were on the G-Posers forum, Discord, this was the tool. This was the tool of choice, officially endorsed even by G-Posers. When G-Posers again is like a community of, I guess, screenshot people, enthusiasts. Yeah.
The picture taker folks.
Yeah.
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 Whenever you've seen a good, like a really, really nice, high quality screenshot from 14, it's usually from like G-Posters. It's usually something that was first posted there. And it was most likely using Gshade. So, huge tool. I've used it for like screenshots for our characters. It's all been done with Gshade. It also has this very neat functionality where you can turn on like a green screen in the background, which allows you to key out the background. So you can, yeah.
It has a ton of sorry, I'm like in a daze right now. A ton of presets that like community made presets.
Yes,
that was the big thing about it too.
Yes,
as opposed to SweetFX and like Reshade, they were more you had to kind of hunt for it.
yes. Yeah, it came with a lot of presets, which was a big draw. Specifically, again, tailored for 14. Now, there was introducing another thing, a plugin manager. Another person decides to make a plugin manager. It's a little unclear what exactly it did, because the discussion has been so blown up that it's just mostly people screaming at each other. So it was hard to find out what exactly the plugin manager was doing, but from what I can gather, it was just some sort of update tool that people use to like keep their plugins updated or something, that interacted, or it removed the forced update. Okay, there you go. So I did read that. So when Gshade, is it because Gshade had a very annoying update process?
Yes, I don't know if you saw this side of it. I think with the latest update, 4.1, 4.2, it was.
Yeah.
There was, I think, since 4.0 or so, because I had like a super old version of Reshade or Gshade. It was like 3.1 sort of 3.4 something. So I never got the forced updates.
Yeah.
But it gave you a really annoying screen pop up. It was just like in fucking like clip art, which was I think a little funny, but it just says like, please read the FAQ or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you went to like find what's going on with the FAQ or like what this update is about, the FAQ doesn't really tell you anything. And then if you went to the Gposers Discord, I think the Gposers and the Gshade thing are kind of, it's the same community.
Yeah.
The maker of the plugin, or I think some of the staff, would just like fucking make fun of you.
Yeah.
They'd be like, you like they'd be really obtuse, but it's just like shitty. It's for like a community fucking plugin.
Yeah, and I don't know about, because Gshade always bothered me when there was an update, because it would happen when you boot up the game and there's like this thing at the top of the screen that says you have to update Gshade, and you cannot close it. Like, it is like, you have to update or this will be here for the entire... I'm like, I'm about to stream. I can't sit here and update Gshade. So, well, I have to. I have to, like, just do that. It's very annoying.
It's very intrusive.
Yeah, so that's what I guess that's what the plugin was for then, yeah. So it would just shut off the forced update. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens next?
How dare you?
Is... the developer gets very pissy, and they were already pissy. They add...
I mean, the addition of the thing at the top of the screen just already tells you that they're kind of a control freak.
Yes, exactly. And they're like, "Ooh, how dare you turn off my petty updates?" So they added a code to Gshade, which is essentially malicious code, that forces your computer to restart if it detects anything, any third-party plugin like interacting with Gshade at all.
How dare you?
And
on my closed source fork? You?
Congratulations, you've made malware. you idiot. And because of how the update system works, everyone got it because they had to update, unless the people were using... Well, it's very complicated what happened next, but obviously when this starts spreading, you're like, oh shit, this developer is unhinged. I have installed something very dangerous to my computer right now. So...
In fairness...
Yeah.
To sort of, play the devil's advocate a bit, they have every right to create their software, their closed software as well. It's their, it's their project.
Yeah.
In whatever way they want. Obviously, the aftermath is going to be terrible for them, but you've got to be careful when you're downloading random bits of software.
But you mean all
Play around
this for a 16-year-old that annoyed you?
Well,
like,
yeah, that is fair.
I don't know if you guys saw the comment, but they were like, yeah, this is to teach them a fucking lesson.
Yeah, well,
it's like this is a child you're trying to fight with right now. What's wrong?
yeah. By the way,
you?
the plugin developer is 16. The plugin manager. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
should we read the quote that they yeah. So
Hilarious. Please do.
it explodes. Obviously, this is a huge thing. Like I would guess. I don't know the percentage, but a very high percentage of 14 players has almost a GeForce Gshade installed. And now this developer has done something very strange, and then this is their defense. This is them replying to a complaint by the creator of the plugin manager, the thing that prevented the update. Mm-hmm. Hello, Knight. Anti-tampering code is not unusual in proprietary software. It is impossible to trigger that code by running the Gshade installer as normal end user in any fashion. You must call the individual functions of the app from an external third-party program designed to utilize its functions in a clandestine fashion. This was meant to be a lesson to you specifically about taking this approach to the problem. Anything could have been in the payload, and you'd have been responsible for distributing it to people and triggering it. I chose a restart specifically because I wanted something that was still completely harmless, but slightly more noticeable than a quick process kill. Consider it similar to what anti-cheat software does when something particularly bad turns up. Villain.
What is it about 14 players that makes them like this?
Were
we all just bullied in high school and have like power fantasies?
I think so. It must be what's happening here.
What?
You know what it is, Rollo? It's because you're not allowed to bully people in PvP anymore, so there's nowhere to get your aggressions out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Go on, Georgi.
I want to ask this as someone that is not as educated in this particular field. Is there any anti-cheat software that forces your PC to restart?
No.
Nothing that's like
not a real anti-cheat.
There are anti-cheat softwares that have kernel level access.
Yes.
Which
Denuvo, I think,
essentially anything to your computer at the developer's whim.
Yeah.
Which are terrible, and I'm, very much against them.
Yeah, there's some anti-cheat software that's very hardcore.
They don't do it now, but actually here is an interesting one. I think chat has mentioned it. The anti-cheat kernel level software that Genshin Impact uses was utilized by bad people to install itself on your computer and then inject things into kernel level to destroy your computer.
Yes.
So it was their developed software that was used to do that.
Yeah.
So never, these are far too big an access for any anti-cheat thing to have.
Yeah.
Well, you've convinced me to never play Genshin Impact. Another excuse.
I mean, you should have it on your PC.
Yeah.
It was, even without having Genshin, because they had developed this piece of software, people just utilized that, and then it installed that, and then used that as a gate.
Yeah.
So you didn't even need to play Genshin. You just have to download the wrong thing.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that is for anything like viruses and malware. That's how it installs itself. You download the wrong thing. But anyways, any normal anti-cheat would never turn off your computer. No
it would turn the game off.
Company would ever have. Yeah, it would crash to desktop usually, like shut it off. That's it. Which they chose not to do. They instead wanted you to learn a lesson about.
Well, no, they wanted one specific person to learn a lesson.
One 16-year-old out there just made someone so pissed off they ruined their plugin.
But that's what's so funny about their response is that they think this is like the big defense. Like this is the gotcha. That. I am directing everyone's anger to the plugin developer instead of myself. That's what I'm doing here. Guys, if it wasn't for that person, you wouldn't have malware right now. But it's because you were using his software that you got malware.
he made me do this.
Yeah, he made me do
It's not
this.
my fault.
The entire class
Yeah.
gets punished. No.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, Rollo.
Yeah.
This form of collective punishment it just makes people angry.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, okay, there's obviously something to be said about running closed source software on your computer. I mean, if you don't know, like stuff like this, you probably shouldn't. Reshade's open source, so you can access that and look at what it is, and it's very safe.
I never got the concept behind taking open source software, making your own fork with like good improvements, and then be like, closed.
Yeah.
Don't touch my shit. Like we just
proud
took
of it,
open
dude.
source software.
Yeah.
Look, Rollo, they're control freaks. That's the only excuses because they don't want to share.
I remember there was a similar incident with a certain 14 chat bot. Remember that? Where a similar situation occurred.
Yes.
Where
And
everyone
you have to
suddenly
remove all the
realized.
Discord suddenly.
Yeah, that's why I don't really want other bots than Darkly Keel. I know what Darkly Keel is running on an open source system. I know what he is. Sir Emmerich was the bot. Yeah. It turned out that the plugin developer there had access to its like all of its stuff. Like it can go into like all of the channels that Sir Emmerich had access to.
Yeah, it could view the logs of any channel.
And they were using it for like blackmail or something. Like they were like threatening to like that was panic mode. I remember that because we had Sir Emmerich, and I'm like he is out of here. But he was like that bot had been so deeply integrated into our server at the time. I remember it was like very, and it was rough to remove him, but we had no choice there.
JP has nothing on us.
No,
absolutely. They will never top us.
This is what we do here. This is the West's like blemish. Is like we do this like power trips. Is what happens here. Yeah. So Gshade had this.
Give them time. Maybe one of them will get a death note, and then he'll have a power trip.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a great case study in the differences between how societies react in collectivism versus individuality.
Yes.
Whereas the West's problem in relation to this particular controversy is much more based on individuality, whereas the one that happened last week was much more based upon the collectivist nature of like everyone should be even.
Yeah. So there are guides out there now for how to, if you now realize that you because some of you may not know that this drama happened at all. If you still have Gshade installed on your computer, you have to uninstall it. Just do it now. There is a guide. You can there are ways to get rid of it, and you can easily transfer over. You just rename the folders called Gshade shaders and Gshade presets to Reshade shaders and Reshade presets. It's just like that. You have everything still.
You should make sure that you do that before you uninstall Gshade, because otherwise you will have to manually set all your presets once more.
Yes.
Which has happened to a few people.
Yes.
Did you see how it got like progressively worse? But like after the incident, there was like, okay, I'm done developing Gshade, which is like, okay, you've proved you're like insane a little bit.
Yes.
So like,
leaving
the GitHub page up, I'm done.
Yeah.
The Gshade Discord just became the Gposers Discord. Just like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then I guess after when there was some more community backlash to the fact that he was doing this to bully a 16-year-old, by the way, that they just took everything down. They're like, the GitHub is dead.
Yeah.
I burn it all down. And that's when it broke for everybody. Because if it wasn't contacting the GitHub page, then it didn't matter what version you're on. It just stopped.
Yes.
That's how I found out too. Which is like one day I logged in, I was like, things look a little bit grayer than usual.
Yeah.
As someone who is always too lazy to do this, well, also as a result of I never particularly had a problem with like the mud filter that exists in 14.
Right.
this just seemed like a giant mess.
Well, it
So
is, yeah.
unrelated to
It is.
and anything that is of concern to me.
But it's like they had. God, I don't even understand. They literally G-Pose was the thing. Like even when we talked about Gshade, sorry, what did I say?
You said G-Pose.
G-Pose. G-Pose is the thing as well. Shade was like the tool. Like remember when we talked about third party? We had a discussion about third party stuff. Not last week, but a few weeks or months before. We said there's one thing that we do accept, and that's Gshade, because it doesn't actually do anything. It's just a visual like overlay thing. It's so ingrained that we just said Gshade instead of like reshade, because Gshade was the tool. They had the market, and then they did this
standard.
But it's only because of the simplicity of its use.
Yeah, it was, and it felt
It's
tailor made for 14.
Any old Final Fantasy 14 Sprout could just download it, and they'd have presets, so the game would look in a nice,
And there were so many presets.
Just get Reshade.
Yeah,
Watch a YouTube video on how to use it properly. Educate yourself.
Yeah, you
Make your own
and again,
stuff.
you can still use the presets that exist for Gshade that are made for 14, and the install process is the same.
And now there's an open market slot for something that does the same thing but remains open source.
Yes. Support open source over closed source, I would always say. Okay, well, there you go.
The graphics in 14 look fine to me anyway.
Yeah.
Do you want to read the statement from the G-Pose Discord?
Oh, yeah. The G-Pose...
to Gshade?
The previous Gshade Discord... this is their official statement. Due to the recent controversy with Gshade, this server will be reverted back to its original intention of serving G-Posters monthly magazine. Gshade will remain available on GitHub and will not receive updates for the time being. We're extremely sorry for the trouble that was caused and appreciate your patience while the server rework is in process. In process. That's it. And so ends the tale of Gshade. Yeah, there you go.
Well, hey, hot tip: if you don't like the grayness of 14, but maybe you're just like a little wary now of things like Reshade or SweetFX or whatever these days, just turn your gamma down to like 30, and it looks
true.
1,000
if you
times
turn your gamma down, it looks pretty good. That's what I do.
It lets you see the details, and it gets rid of the grayness for the most part, and it's just.
And you can play around with the gentlest like color filters on NVIDIA's one or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
there's probably an AMD one.
But
it doesn't look amazing because of the UI being included. But if you're very gentle with it,
yeah,
you can be okay. But basically, the game looks fine anyway, and there's going to be a graphics rework in a year's time.
Yeah, and
I mean, honestly, the presets I was using was just like get rid of the filter, the grayness filter, and sharpen some stuff up. And
most people just wanted like the colors to pop a bit more.
But also, I mean, I will say for programmers out there, developers, there is a market again for an open source version of Gshade. If anyone can do that, that would probably be nice. But now that we know, it'll be hard to regain trust, I think, for such an app again. But it's possible.
Some of you people don't deserve those filters, though. I see how much bloom you make on those fucking presets.
They look
I think you're. That's not a gameplay preset. Don't fucking lie to me.
Rollo, the people yearn for 2006.
Yeah, it looks like a PS3 launch title.
If my game doesn't only have my character in focus and everything else is depth of field, then it's not worth playing.
Like some of you guys will label this as like a gameplay preset. So like, you can play it normally.
Yeah.
And then you'll have the highest depth of field known to man where it can't see shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to see the raid boss. The fuck is wrong with you?
I've got around it though, because obviously now that we can't use Gshade, I've just taken to putting Vaseline on my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Gshade experience all over again. Baby.
Yeah.
I like to layer the Vaseline on both sides of my contacts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sticks better and it looks worse.
Okay. Well, there you go. G-Pose. Sorry, I keep saying it. G-Shade.
G Fuel has been cancelled.
Oh, it probably will be soon.
Get your gamer fuel elsewhere, fellas.
Yeah.
Guys,
In your country, probably, Likio.
Yeah. Okay.
if this goes up on YouTube and there's been a new drama in the week, then obviously we'll cover it. But if there hasn't, let us know what you think the next big drama will be.
You know what? Let's make a guess right now. What do you think next week's going to be?
Oh. Well, it's probably. What could that
thinking,
be? Yeah, we have. There's the annual like nightclub stuff.
Oh
that
yeah,
happens.
maybe there'll be some more nightclub stuff because they've not had anything for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. One day next week, there's going to be a nightclub event, right? And then there's just going to be a GM in there fucking.
Yeah.
Like, you'll see him like he just like forgot to vanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be funny.
He's in like the fucking strip club.
They got Pitbull.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it's something a little.
I think it's going to be RP drama next.
RP
Some
drama.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what I'm
probably.
going
I
for.
hope
There's
it's just something
always
petty.
something like that, and then you get the. I love it when you get the two sides of RP community coming out.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
Not all RP is like that.
I want to have a correction here. Not everyone
It's
does
so
that.
funny. We know it's not, but it's so funny.
Yeah,
Love it.
everyone's like so hurt every time we talk about it. Like, actually, there's 462
I'm not
different
included in
types of
that.
roleplay in this game. You have to cover all of them before you can talk about it. Okay. Anyways, that's it. Uninstall Gshade.
Yeah, or don't. It's your choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just go and make sure you've got all trace of it away from your computer,
Yeah.
and just try the default settings of the game. Because it's probably been about 6 years since you last saw what the game looked like. So maybe it looks better now.
Yeah. Well, they've
Such
been
a
forced to
first,
see it now,
man.
Melly. Imagine all the people logging and going like, oh!
Right?
I can see everything. Oh!
No, I can't see the sweat of my character's breast.
Where are the sweaty titties? Okay.
Black desert.
Okay. Well, that's that. We don't have time for MogMail. I'm just saying that right now because we have a main story.
Okay.
So we're moving on to a PvP piece.
PvP piece.
Let's jump into this. This is about PvP, like I said.
Oh, yeah.
A PvP piece.
Don't worry, we've not got time for MogMail.
No, we don't have time for MogMail.
We'll
We
say
have this
PvP
PvP piece.
And many times.
we come in the
It's
name of
from-
PvP piece. That is
No.
what?
Comes from a website called Gfinity Esports.
G, another G. Oh,
Another G.
for God's
No.
sake.
Holy shit! Can we read this? Is
Gfinity
it
drama
open
next
source?
week.
Okay, this is an interview with Yoshi-P regarding PvP.
Yoshi PvP.
Yoshi PvP. This is a Yoshi-P PvP piece. So yeah, it's I'm just stuck on saying that. It's so funny. Okay. Anyways, turns out Ultima Online actually influenced Final Fantasy XIV's complicated PvP efforts.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find
Well,
out.
We're
we'll
about
find
to
out.
find out. I'll admit this before we go any further. This is not me. This is the. I've
That's what
never.
the article says.
I've never been much of a PvP guy, though I'll never forget the dread-infused thrill of going deep into the wilderness of old-school RuneScape, picking up people's blood-spoiled adamantite arrows like a medieval hobo looking to afford a sandwich. The idea of actually fending off other players in an MMO has never been my jam. Or
Sorry,
jelly
just the
for
idea of a writer.
Americans.
The idea of someone writing for a website called Gfinity Esports saying, I've never been much of a PvP guy.
Yeah,
is such an
right.
interesting statement.
Yeah.
I've never really been into esports.
It's absolutely a skill issue. I watched my cousin become one of those Goldshire brawlers in World of Warcraft in awe. Impressed.
Goldshire wasn't for brawling. Goldshire was not for PvP. Goldshire was for explicit roleplay. Everyone knows it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yet only vaguely. Did you just actually him? Did you just?
Actually, if you played real Goldshire, you know it's for the that is WoW's ERP center. That's their Hermit's Hovel.
Okay.
Sounds like alien speak to me.
Yeah. Yet only vaguely jealous of his ability to weave spells and correctly guess his opponent's moves. It's a talent I just can't replicate. Even after 10 years of playing Final Fantasy XIV, I can't say I've ever really had the urge to partake in its myriad player versus player bouts. But that doesn't mean I'm not utterly fascinated by the team's tenacious efforts to keep the new content coming in for its fringe competitive player base. And after the release of Crystalline Conflict in the Endwalker expansion, which caused an explosion of the game's typically hot and cold PvP scene, I had to chat with the development team about the long journey of making PvP battlegrounds as beloved in Final Fantasy XIV as its PvE content. On the subject of why the team believes Crystalline Conflict was the mode that finally ignited a burning passion for player versus player conflict, Battle System Director Hikaru Tamaki gave a few reasons. It mostly boils down to finding the sweet spot to keep it fun and rewarding enough while avoiding the frustration of losing. I'd say there are many factors, but probably a major reason why Crystalline Conflict resonates so well among players, he begins. While you'll knock others out and get knocked out more often compared to previous PvP modes in 14, we were able to minimize the impact that getting knocked out has on the results of the match. I think it was good that we were able to make it easier for players to feel the fun and pleasure of defeating their opponents and, conversely, that we alleviated some of the stress they experienced when they are defeated. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. A lot of people are turned off PvP because of the fear of like dying in PvP, especially if you're on a team, and then they'll see that you're dead, and then maybe you'll lose because you died. That, I think, is like the big scare.
I mean, compare the number of kills that would occur in a feast match compared to what you get in Crystalline Conflict.
Yeah.
Like
that's true.
4 was a lot in the feast.
Yeah. And also, like, if you die in 14's PvP, it's not that big of a deal. You can get up again and just, recover very quickly. After 10 years of the developers trying either to satisfy the game's niche PvP community or foster a growing one, we had to dive into the history of Square Enix's push for the growth of its spectator sport. Final Fantasy XI, for example, paled in comparison to most MMOs of the time when it came to its PvP offerings. Instead, focusing more closely on its PvE content and stories, players couldn't engage in anything close to the friendly duels Western MMOs like RuneScape and World of Warcraft players loved so dearly, being locked to a duo of large-scale conflict modes that, in the words of Final Fantasy XIV's producer and director Naoki Yoshida, didn't manage to generate significant results, but some people liked.
It has large-scale PvP.
Yeah, it has, but it's not good.
No, but that's quite cool.
I mean, Mailer and I would say that 11's not good, so I can't even conceive of what 11's PvP is like.
I would adore watching an esports commentator try and keep an FF11 PvP match engaging.
Yeah,
I think
and he's just started the cast for 5.
I think
so
maybe
just wait 10
Mela.
seconds.
I think it would be like watching chess. It's like more strategic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next time,
but hard to keep an eye on what's actually.
Yeah, it'd be difficult to like keep it interesting. But yeah.
Next time there's a comeback campaign for 11 and a kill. Mailer and I obviously won't join you, but please do run a PvP match in 11.
We won't be high enough level. You're
like level 30 now.
No, I don't think
no, we aren't.
20?
We are 20.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
and PvP is probably locked behind like level 60 content.
Well,
and we really want to watch it, don't we, Yogi?
No,
yes,
you're not getting that.
We really want to watch it. So no.
We're going to go back to killing mushrooms and dying, and then level 1 level, and then not play it again for a year. That's how we play 11 here.
I do love that. That's riveting right there.
It is. Okay. And the notion was, in retrospect, enough to suggest why Final Fantasy XIV lacked any PvP system prior to its closure a year after its original 2010 launch. I believe that PvP was planned to be added later in the original 14 because developers of 11 were in charge of its game design, said Mr. Yoshida. but the original version of the game and its team didn't stick around long enough to see their vision
That's
came
not
to
fair.
fruition. That's not
exactly right.
Not quite right there, but all right. Using a similarly slow combat system and much of the same team, it wasn't until Mr. Yoshida was brought in to rework the game that player brawls were introduced in the game's first post-revival update with the Wolves' Den. Always ready to boast his gamer credentials at any opportunity, Mr. Yoshida backed up his wise words by reconfirming that he's been an online gamer since the days of Ultima Online. He knows the thing with...
Like Reed of Yoshi-P, always ready to boast his gamer
Well,
credentials at any
it's true.
opportunity.
It is kind of true. He does push it a lot. It's like... I'm a bit
It
of a
is
gamer.
true, but it's not something you say in an interview with him.
No.
The dedication of people who played original EverQuest and Ultima Online, though, is to be commended.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, yeah.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Or I mean, there's no answer for this, obviously, unless he says it. But like, he says he played a lot of WoW.
Yes.
Did he use add-ons?
Well,
He's
add-ons
never
are
going to.
almost
He's never
necessary
going
for WoW.
to say that.
I
he
mean,
did.
they weren't, but at a certain point,
They
it
are
became-
necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, in at least some kind of context of content,
To
right?
do dungeons, you need DBM, and to do... Well, no, DBM's the only one you probably actually
Well,
have
WoW
to
is
have.
very different though because they essentially
They
at
design
some
around
point
it
designed
now.
around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And he played.
It's a different
I mean,
game.
I don't know if he still plays, but I think when he talked about playing, he played more during Burning Crusade and
Yeah,
launch.
he
Yeah,
played
probably.
during the heyday.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And that was when it was
I
even
mean-
harder because the game didn't have the right visual language like it does now. 14's visual language is incredibly easy to follow with
Yeah.
all the telegraphs.
Yes.
Whereas WoW's were really like you didn't know what that circle did,
No.
and it didn't really have an obvious end point.
Whether or not he used add-ons for WoW and other MMOs back in the day, I don't necessarily see how that's in conflict with his current position on add-ons in 14.
No, because
Well,
14
no, I
isn't designed for it. Like it's.
I do just
Yeah.
wonder though
I mean, you can tell that Yoshi-P was used to plugins and add-ons because in earlier Realm Reborn, he talked about it all the time that we were going to get official add-ons and plugins that you could install. Like they would endorse that, but then quickly started to walk that back quite hardcore until it was a complete.
They're
ban.
adding things now. They're slow.
Yeah.
They're very, very, very slowly implementing some of it into the game. The ones that matter,
Yeah.
seeing the debuff timers and stuff, and
Yeah.
the important stuff.
Yes.
Not just calling out what the next mechanic is,
Yeah.
which is what WoW has.
Yeah. So, anyways, Yoshida boasts, he brags, so he knows a thing or two about the trials and tribulations of proving yourself in the arenas. The main reason for the inclusion of PvP in 14 is that I believe content where players face off with each other is extremely effective as a form of endgame content. And his comments clearly make a lot of sense. Unlike scripted PvE boss battles, PvP is infinitely repeatable and never once the same, yet it generally results in the same sort of euphoria when you come out on top. I mean, true. I think
wrong.
I think that's pretty accurate
PvP
description
is
of
infinitely
PvP.
repeatable. I think there would be something to be said of maybe like a boss rush
Right.
competitive thing in PvE where like there's a leaderboard of who's got the furthest to the boss rush. Something like that. Like adding a more competitive thing to PvE, I think would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Because it's not competition people hate in this game. More so it's maybe conflict with players. They might not like going directly against players.
Yeah.
Or
It's-
just that it's awkward.
Yeah. Because in PvE content, for the most part, anything that you're doing regularly, you're not as likely to get upset with with who you're playing alongside.
Mhm.
Whereas in PvP, it's very reliant on your team
Yes.
being
Yeah.
competent.
Yes.
And they've made it more difficult than ever to coordinate because you can't even talk anymore.
Yeah.
You can't even do OQ at the least.
And most annoyingly,
There's
you
no
can't
teams.
bully your team members.
You don't need to bully them, but there are times, for example, there was this really good ninja who I went against and then was with, and I saw how good they were. And then every time they were in a match from then on, I targeted them with a 1 because I knew how good they were. And then we won every time we targeted them because they were their star player. No offense to everyone else on the team. They were cannon fodder. But that one person was really good.
Yeah.
And if you target the good people, you win. And you can't coordinate if you can't talk.
No. I do love the the fact that you can't bully your teammates now makes me so good, because you know when you're playing with someone who's toxic because they try really hard to be aggressive and they do the nice job thing.
Oh yeah.
They just spam that. And I'm like, I am so happy because I know you're frustrated that you can't say what you want in here.
Seething.
Yeah, you just keep pressing that nice job button.
Nice job like 3 times in a row, I report them.
Re-report? You are such a Karen. I love that.
I've been cleaning this community for you, okay?
Yeah.
I'll say though, I don't think it's like a fear of like PvP. I think people, a lot of people, at least groups, a large amount of people do enjoy like the direct head-to-head kind of competition, and I think it even speaks to the just because of how popular like other similar games are. Things like Valorant, CS:GO, League, or Dota 2. Those are heavily like skill-based team MMOs, and same thing even with fighting games too.
Yeah,
like there's definitely an audience there, and like every kind of genre, I would say. I think there is that in 14 too. I just don't think they really know how to capitalize on it using the systems we have now. With how like slow the game is, and how like what is it? Connection dependent. A lot of stuff can be as well. It's kind of hard to like cultivate and foster that like highly competitive, like open communication kind of PvP.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's when you play a AAA competitive game and you're on like 12 ms ping, and it's playing so smooth, and then you go to 14 as a warrior and you do the chain thing where it pulls them towards you, and it takes like a second and they've just run away already, and then they just slide back towards you. It's a bit,
it's tough. I mean, I do kind of agree with you though. I think making like objective based PvP or with PvE elements works a lot better in this game, especially how people are just used to hitting a mob.
And you could easily make like just it random picks, or as a set list of like 20 bosses in a row that get progressively just scaled harder, and you just see who can get the furthest, and then the rankings reset every week or two.
I think it's really a shame they didn't really push our kind of work around the rival wing system, because I think that was a really good base with some weird directions they went into. Especially with how big the maps were and how many players there was in. But I think like lane style PvP with mobs, I guess, or even you can even make it a fucking cart if you want to, like or King of the Hill type thing. It is like that works a lot better. I think a little bit more than CC does, but CC is just so much more thought out, and it has good rewards behind it, and the job change that came at the same time too, and in PvP really has solidified that as being the base, of course.
I think rival wings could benefit from maybe adding in a layer of, because it's clearly MOBA inspired. Maybe there could be like a really simplified leveling system with like very minimal perks or something like that, just to, so you could maybe slightly build. Like you could go more defensive or more offensive or something.
I don't even think it needs.
I don't think you don't need to be deep. It needs better rewards. It needs to have a roulette. It like it almost feels like
slightly.
Yeah, maybe shorten the match time a little, because it's like, what is it, 15 minutes?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. So that's quite a long time.
If you're going to go at base level.
Yeah, that's true.
Like just doing your standard PvP rotation for that long. I mean, the thing about MOBAs is you get stronger the better you're doing.
Yeah.
You can, Like there's it feels good to get your ulti and have a good build and kill people easier.
Oh, then you can like type in chat, "Stop feeding the Reapers!" No,
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with chat that it sucks to lose for 20 minutes, but I mean, it's not
But
that's not an issue exclusive to Rival Wings.
But that's why I like Rival Wings, because you can feel like you're losing for a long time, and then all of a sudden the tides turn and you're winning. So
that can happen in Frontlines as well.
Yeah. So you can.
But it feels like it doesn't matter in Frontlines because you have so little impact.
Frontlines
It feels
is three teams. 3-team PvP sucks.
Yeah.
2-team
Yeah.
PvP is so good.
Yeah.
I am so surprised the first idea they had was a large scale PvP with how the skills work in this game. Especially when like early PvP was just the normal like rotation.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking crazy to me. That
It was your normal rotation and more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Extra skills.
Yeah.
Like
Which is so hard to use.
I think Crystal Conflict is. It even shows it too. Smaller scale PvP, shorter, is like a much better combination. And smaller focus too with maps. I think if you did the same thing to Rival Wings, I mean, I don't know about the other one, whatever the fuck it's called. If you made the map like 50% smaller in a Rival Wings match, you made the player number 8. I think
8v8?
Yeah, 8v8.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
8v8s, and you shorten the match time. You can maybe like, I don't know, increase the creep damage to like make the towers go down quicker or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And along with rebalancing, however they want to do with the mechs to fit that formula, that would feel so much quicker, be quicker to get into and out of, and you still have a big impact on the match. Because like someone dying in Crystal Conflict, like that's big. Being down one player, that's a lot of damage you're missing out on your team.
Yeah.
And that's like you've lost that encounter most likely. You just got to fall back. But with how was it 32? I think in Rival Wings, or is it 16?
24.
24. Yeah. 24. That's it. I mean, it still kind of matters, especially when you're focusing like the mechs. Like the mechs are, of course, the big game changer stuff there. But it's still, killing one player doesn't feel like a big achievement or like a big tide turning thing.
Right.
Even worse in Frontlines.
Yeah.
That problem magnified, 5 times.
Yeah.
Chat brings up when they introduced 8v8 Frontlines, and it felt so
Yes.
good. And they decided on, no, let's go for the maximum. No, go for the minimum.
I don't remember exactly why. Was it something to do with the matching system?
It was scaling based.
It was
so
scaling.
If there weren't enough people who queued, it would go for lower numbers.
Right.
But 8v8, they were so good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everything mattered.
I always much preferred getting 8v8.
I agree.
Same. Frontline matches.
Yeah. Okay, we need to finish this interview. Compared to the cost of PvE development, the scale and priority of PvP tend to be inevitably lower, but ever since the start of A Realm Reborn, we have always had people in charge of PvP and have invested a large amount of resources on development, including the preparation of dedicated zones in the creation process. For years, the team introduced new PvP modes fairly regularly, not nearly as frequently as the more popular story content, item grinds, and raid battles, though, which always begged the question of how PvE/PvP push split. So what? Of how the PvE/PvP
split development resources.
Yeah, push split development resources. As for the breakdown of resources allocated to PvP as opposed to PvE, it is difficult to give a general answer because it depends on some patch cycles and other factors. Between new modes and matching arenas, even the skills players used in said battles have shifted over the years. And there's a good reason for that. When the earliest PvP content was implemented, we used PvE actions as they were, Tamaki reminisced. But whether that was just to let players get a taste of the in-progress PvP mechanics or not, we gradually adjusted the performance of each action so that they were more suited for PvP, and cut down on the number of actions themselves to make things less busy for the player. Yeah. Early PvP, absolute cack in this game.
Yeah.
I hated the fucking materia too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember. Did they even?
Yeah.
I don't remember. if they mattered actually in terms of
Not
like
really.
impact on the match, but
They were like stun resistance or something stupid.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
poison resistance. They were pointless.
It was nothing.
They had a lovely color.
They had
They do have a
PvP.
lovely color.
The PvP
like-
gear had stats, like PvP
Yes.
stats for you.
See, I'm not 100% against PvP gear as a concept, but I just don't think they would make it work well in this game because it would essentially just be a flat you win if you got the full set.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think they could make it interesting in this game. I think it works in other games. I don't think this game needs it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they really wanted to, I guess you can make it like a set bonus kind of thing, and not set bonus not being a flat stat kind of thing. I mean, like a skill change, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
or boosting a specific skill somehow.
Yeah.
I think the best thing they could do is like what Mailer was saying, and similar to how MOBAs is like, as you level up, you get more. As you get kills and progress the objectives in PvP, you get access to more or variations of skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like your stun lasts like 2 seconds longer if you've got it at high enough level or something, or I don't know.
Stuns in this game are. It's not bad, but boy,
No, it's bad.
In every game, it feels bad to get stunned. By the way,
It's,
Yeah.
it's,
Kind
no,
of-
it's
it
bad.
does.
It's
I mean,
bad.
it's supposed to though. Stun is
Yeah.
supposed to be disruptive and
Yeah.
prevent you from doing things. I mean, that's just the skill.
I mean,
I
if
love
if
Stun.
these skill upgrades or whatever the equivalent is resulted in the match ending faster the further in it got, that would be very nice, because sometimes it can feel like it just drags on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. I mean, there are ways they can improve Crystalline Conflict at a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think Crystalline Conflict by itself, fairly good state now, but I still need improvements.
Yeah.
There's
It's
a few
easily
things
the
that
best
change.
PvP.
I
It's easily
would,
the best PvP has been in this game.
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would say within the first third of the map, the respawn timer should be maybe 2 seconds shorter, and at the last third, it should be 2 seconds longer.
Yeah.
Because there's no real punishment for dying late in the match, as opposed to dying like 2 minutes in.
We have a lot of thoughts on PvP, I can tell, but we definitely need to keep going. So, all right. Just as most classes have gone through multiple reworks since their inception, so too have PvP-specific skills across the board. And if you feel like your max-level class rotation feels basic when you switch to PvP, the team assured us that it's by design as well. According to Mr. Tamaki, for starters, the reason for completely separating PvE and PvP actions is tied to the premise of 14's PvP content, in that we allow players to be able to compete on the same terms, regardless of character level. In an effort to even the playing field and ease anyone into the fold who may be trying the game's PvP aspect out before reaching the level cap, he explained, since players can participate in PvP content from level 30, it would be difficult to have those still in the process of leveling up suddenly use actions equivalent to the level cap. Hence, we narrowed down to a number of actions that are easy to learn and operate, even for those who are not yet familiar with combat in 14. He continued, we also felt that if we continued to approach it as an extension of the PvE actions, we would have reached the limits in expressing the individuality of each job. Having thought about being able to create a fun way for players to increase their skill level in each job to counteract their opponent's actions, and creating certain points to attract the attention of spectators, we decided on the current form, in which the individuality of each job stands out more. 10 years on, and multiple PvP modes later, we had to ask the team about the journey, looking back on the whole subsection of the game now that Crystalline Conflict has seemingly cemented player versus player combat as a mainstay of the game. I thought it would take many attempts, rounds of trial and error, and much persistence from our team for PvP to become established in the Final Fantasy series, which had been cultivated as a console franchise, said Yoshida. When asked whether there were any PvP modes he'd hoped to perform better given the development time, Yoshida continued, I believe any content that has been implemented and is still in operation is necessary for the current 14. Whether... really? Lord of Dominion?
Interesting.
Whether or not it becomes popular is merely the end result, but it's the feedback and hints found through that process which are necessary for 14's quality later on down the road. Basically, I have fond feelings and memories toward all the content. Very diplomatic and correct answer there, Yoshida. And looking forward to the future, we had to ask the team of their plans to keep the game's PvP golden goose, Crystalline Conflict, going far into the future. Of course, the battle's game director couldn't help but comment on the lasting appeal of all the game's currently active PvP options.
Ooh.
Lasting appeal.
Here we go. Players who are new to PvP content often start with Frontline or Rival Wings, which are large
Who
scale.
starts with Rival Wings?
That's big.
I
That's
don't
a
think
lot
anyone
to
plays
do.
it anymore.
No. Which are large scale encounters involving many combatants. My goal is to make sure that they will have fun, even if only slightly, when they play that content.
Very bare minimum level of enjoyment will be
I'm
indentured by all.
having slight fun. It's just a slight bit of fun there.
If on a survey they answer 2 or higher,
Yeah, I've done a good job. It's worth noting that this common way into PvP with Frontline, at least. Like Frontline, I see. Frontline is very easy. It has a roulette, so you feel more inclined to do it. At least, likely stems from the miscellaneous daily rewards the game uses to incentivize playing around. Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. It gives you like 1k wolf marks, or whatever they're called.
Yeah. That, in effect, appears to be part of the team's wise and wider plan, with Tamaki adding, I myself play competitive games of various genres, and I always feel that the first impression you get is important. He continued saying, I want to make it so that players can transition from experiencing vague feelings of fun to a deeper sense of enjoyment. Sorry. Vague feelings of fun. to a deeper sense of enjoyment as they gradually understand how to use the actions and learn the rules of the content. In addition, I'd be very glad to see more players who are willing to try out Crystalline Conflict once they've become used to playing PvP. I love this man just like toning everything down. It's like, well, you might feel a hint of fun, when playing this. Just give it time.
Maybe that kernel will grow into a full-grown stalk of corn.
Yes.
But not super tasty corn.
No,
it'll be passable.
It'll be vaguely good. It'll be vaguely good corn.
Baby corn.
On the subject of teaching new recruits the intricacies of PvP play, which generally means learning a rotation that's wholly different to the one they take into high-end PvE battles, we had to ask if the team...
That's generous.
It's situational anyway.
Yeah.
Situational.
True. We had to ask if the team has any other plans for teaching would-be brawlers the ropes. Though the game has numerous ways for players to learn about PvE systems, there's no such way for future PvP stars to learn to anticipate and counter another player's advances. Chatty folk can party up and step into sparring arenas, but solo players have only one real option: diving into a match, swallowing demoralizing defeats, and the potential wrath of the experienced strangers they're randomly paired with. I understand that the experience of participating in a game with no idea what to expect, only to be knocked out countless times and lose the match, can be extremely stressful, and I appreciate such situations might make players think, I never want to participate in PvP again, said Tamaki, and he's absolutely right. I'd like to reduce the number of players who have such experiences, however much I can, and it's also our intention to create opportunities for more players to experience PvP. To this end, we'll continue to consider the possibilities that could serve as effective solutions for a system through which players can learn about PvP. Following up with his colleagues' talk about the hypotheticals of being bashed around a virtual arena, Naoki Yoshida chimed in with another well-placed anecdote about his past.
Well-placed anecdote,
which ties the whole thing together quite well. I mean, I feel
Reminds me, actually.
it is true. Yoshida does this a lot, so it's just funny that the interviewer's like pulling attention to it. Well, my first experience with PvP, not to brag, was 20 minutes after I created... I didn't say
20
that.
minutes?
It was 20 minutes after I created my character in Ultima Online. The first thing I felt at that moment was frustration, and hence I studied the system. But most players aren't like that. It's precisely for that reason why I believe we need to separate PvE and PvP skill sets, reduce the number of skills, and consider making battles as simple as possible. Furthermore, as Tamaki commented, it would be best if some kind of training or tutorial could be implemented. However, when it comes to how to do this, the reality is that we find ourselves torn, and it's not easy for us to make the decision about embarking on such an undertaking. This is because it's not only PvE but also PvP that is very frequently rebalanced, meaning we would always need to allocate costs and resources to adjusting the tutorial in line with balance changes. That said, we will certainly continue to consider the possibilities. There it is. That's true. I mean, that's the pain of running an MMO, is that once you've made a tutorial, that tutorial will have to be updated every time you make adjustments to the systems. And the more you have...
That's why we have the training dummies and Wolfenstein and everything. You can practice however you want every time until you change.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like other games do it.
Yeah, I agree.
And they don't have to adjust like specific numbers every time.
No.
Like a lot of big PvP games can get away with just telling you the basics at least of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole of the novice does that. They're like giving you vague instructions, like here's how you avoid AoEs. You know that you can do that with PvP as well without getting too into
think
like.
You need like a practice match before. Just jump in and try it out.
Yeah, like
I will say though, I'm surprised there's no like tutorials in the mechanics of maps, because like some of them are pretty
true.
Yeah,
some of them you can't just intuit by like playing them. Like if you played the lava bomb map, whatever, and is it Healthcare, I think? In Crystal Conflict. I mean, you would probably know, don't stand in the AoE bombs. Yeah. But like in the heat of the moment, you might not know the bombs leave behind cores that increase your damage.
Right.
That is true.
Yeah. Like if you just saw that too, you might think it's a hazard.
Yeah, but the language of healthcare is that if you stand in a bomb's path, you'll take like 80% damage.
I know.
So you go with that into the new one, and you insta-die on the new guy.
This is going to be a very me interruption. Hell's Cure is the Suzuki trial. Volcanic Heart is the Crystalline Conflict map.
Oh,
right. It's based on that. It's based on Hell's Cure. It's close enough.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No, you're thinking about Hell's Lid. Yeah.
Oh, Hell's Lid.
Yeah.
It's right. Yeah, Hell's Lid.
Yes.
So yeah, just to continue how you complete Crystalline Conflict. Obviously, the timer thing.
Yeah.
You also need to fix Purify. I know these guys don't agree with me, but I know I'm correct in this because.
I agree with you on this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't agree with.
What do you mean?
Purify needs to remove every single type of losing control of your character ability because of its long cooldown. And it needs to also work properly. Like you need to click it and actually
What does it currently not remove? Oh, we've had this discussion. I
polymorph and like maybe hysteria. I can't remember, but there's a few things like the white mage polymorph that it doesn't remove. It should remove everything.
Polymorph lasts for like 2 seconds.
PvP. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Polymorph is
it's supposed to be like
it's your choice
it's supposed to like just
to use your.
So you think you should be able to
essentially.
use skills when you are stunned and silenced as well?
Purify, yes.
It's a spell. You can't do that when you're
in a PvP game. If you have an ability that removes debilitating effects, it should work on everything.
And then they need to change the description.
They can change the description, but it should work on everything. That is just truth and fact.
Okay. They're not going to do that, but thank you for your input.
All right. Devil's advocate. They should make it worse. It should make your stuns increase.
Yeah.
Yes, if you add to stuns, it just doubles it.
Yeah, double detrimental effects.
You know how to double it, baby. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's it for today. Hopefully you got something out of that. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. If you're watching live, wait. Is there anything else to say? No, we have no announcements. There is normal. We're back to normal.
No. Yeah. There was probably more to take out of that PvP article. But
there's more. We are 26 minutes off.
PvP discussion.
Yeah, I would like that again at some point.
Yeah,
we talk about it every now and then.
When there's a big PvP update next. Yeah, because I think there's a lot. Well, anyways, that's backstage talk. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfHuddle, YouTube.com /SpeakersXIV, exclamation Discord in chat if you're watching live, if you're watching on demand, links in the description. Remember to send us MogMail. We'll read them next week. SpeakersXIV.com /MogMail. All right. And be nice. Don't create any more drama, or maybe do. I don't know.
Make some drama. I want something to talk about next week.
But
That's
we
funny.
have something to talk about next week, so it'd be annoying.
We have quite a few things to actually talk about, Rollo.
Make the
Yeah.
show go overtime for us.
But it'd be nice if it'd be
again.
like a
No.
short thing, so we could have like a hook for the episode
Yeah.
title. That'd be nice. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the poster if you're watching live. All right, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.